Hey there. So in this video, we're gonna do a seated Cossack squat. So this is a perfect warm-up for any hip mobility routine. And even as an exercise by itself, as a part of a mobility routine, it's really great because we're gonna work on first of all, we're gonna work on the adductor, the inner thighs, give a nice stretch. Really great for those of you who wanna work on, like your middle splits. And also, we're developing this ability of hinging forward with the hips, which will contribute to your hip mobility. So I'll show you, and this will make more sense. So the starting position for this will be sitting on the shins, one leg straight. Before I go further, I do recommend using a soft mat or a carpet or a soft surface because we're gonna be putting weight on the knee, and especially if you're knee sensitive, you definitely want a soft surface. So again, I'm gonna sit on one shin. I'm also sitting on top of my foot here. That's this leg, and then the other leg is straight. And of course, it doesn't have to be super straight. In fact, I do recommend a little bit of a bend in the knee because if you go for fully straight leg, you're also putting it at a risk of overextending, which might not feel good. And of course, if your body is still not, there's still limitations, you have to bend it a little bit more, totally fine. You have to work with what you have. But the starting position is straight leg. You want to bring the inner edge of that foot onto the floor to start with. Eventually, we're going to go with the whole foot onto the floor. But to start with, the inner edge. So we're starting here. The motion starts with me pressing into this bent leg down into the floor, so shin into the floor, as I also engage my hips and core to start bringing myself up. Already as I do that, I'm going to think about pressing the outer edge of that foot also onto the floor, so the whole foot goes flat. As I come up, I'm going to think about driving the hips forward, opening the hips forward. So we're not here, we're like trying to go as forward as possible. And now, this is the tricky and important part. As we start to go down, we're gonna first think about hinging from the hips as the hips go back. So hinging here, and the chest goes forward. So we're not staying here with the flat chest, the chest goes forward, hips go back. So there's a string pulling your chest forward, a string pulling your hips back, and you fold forward. And this should be around the area where you feel a good stretch and sensation in the inner thighs here, and also around the hips. So using the control of the hips to bring yourself down, and wherever your limitation starts to kick in, then you can already start bringing your hips all the way down to the floor to the initial position. So again, we're gonna press here into the shin, press the foot into the floor. As we come up, I'm also thinking of pressing the rest of the foot into the floor, driving the hips forward, hinging, hips go back, chest go forward. Wherever I feel my limitation, I'm gonna stop there for a second and then bring myself to the floor. So I'll show a different angle of this, sideways, so you can get another view. That will be helpful. So switching this around. Again, coming into my starting position. Pressing into the shin, start to press into the floor as I rotate the foot down. Coming up, reaching the hips forward, and watch this part carefully. I'm hinging, hips go back, chest goes forward, also the head goes forward. Wherever you feel your depth, stay there for a second, and then slow and controlled, bring yourself down. I'm gonna stop talking and do a couple. Last thing I'll say is try to use your breath. So you can use your inhalations as you go up, exhale as you go down. So you develop more rhythm in here. So you can watch as I do a couple. So breathing in, breathing out. Nice. So of course you want to do both sides. So once you're done with one side, do the other side. As far as reps and sets, I would say if we're just using this as a warm-up, 1 set should be enough. Maybe around 6 to 8 reps, even up to 10 reps. Could be quite exhausting as you do a couple. So work with that as well. And as I said, this could be a perfect exercise within a routine as well by itself. So we can also do a few sets. So we can do 3 sets of this, 6 to 8 reps each side, and go from there. Thanks for watching. Cheers.